Today, we evaluate trades we've made in our own leagues, who we hope to draft, and how to leverage this 112 to win Dynasty championships. Stick around to dominate your leagues. Welcome into the Dino Construction Podcast. Today, we are excited to wrap up our Framing a Rookie Draft series with the last pick of this super exciting rookie draft, the 112. So again, if you haven't been following this, we are going to talk trades, theory, and who we want to pick at every pick here. Go ahead and check out the rest of the series if you haven't watched it. So quick recap, top 4 picks, 3 quarterbacks, and Marvin Harrison Jr., then Neighbors Odunze, Bowers, McCarthy, Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell to wrap us up. So with all of that in mind, who are we really thinking about picking here?
Yeah, I think the clear leader is Ladd for me. I think after the NFL draft, we'll probably have a couple other names in this category. Probably have to consider whoever RB1 is just on the fact that they're going to be RB1 in this class. And then any other first round receivers or quarterbacks probably in the conversation. Maybe high second receivers with really good draft capital if like the Bills trade back or something. But Ladd's the top of the board for me here.
Can't deny that he is an exciting prospect there. That's why I was very excited to acquire this 112 pick. So trade I made in our league recently, start 10, I traded Curtis Samuel and the 211 for the 112. I really tried to get cute with this. I tried to monkey around switching out the 211 for something else. I tried to monkey around with seeing if I could get a 4th rounder, late 3rd, early 4th rounder back or something. I was in our sleeper chat and I was like, David, I think I should probably take this trade, but I'm trying to see this. And what did you reply to me, David?
I just asked why you hadn't accepted this trade yet. I think you're getting tremendous value. And I think it's another important lesson here. I mean, you're lucky you didn't lose it, to be honest. When you get a great deal, just you don't need to negotiate. If it comes into your inbox, just hit accept. It's fine. And another lesson here: selling high on Curtis Samuel. You see guys who get their little spike in value all the time, and it is just that. It's a spike in value. We know who Curtis Samuel is. He has an upgraded situation, but that could change by the end of this week. So I think selling high on him. I think you did great there. I think you got great value.
Yeah, thanks for helping bring me back to earth before I lost the trade altogether. That being said, you're not done working yet. Now we're going to do our rapid fire trade segment where we're going to look at trades in other leagues, not just the ones we're in. We pull all of these from dynastydaddy.com. So we just like to make sure before we talk other theory that we get a pulse on the market. So starting with David here. James Cook in a 25 third or the 112 in a 25 second?
I think that's about fair value for Cook, but given the fact that, especially in our draft, we don't expect RB1 to be off the board by this point, if you do need a running back, I think you're going to be sitting in a decent spot to get one. I'm going to go ahead and take the upgrade of the 3rd to the 2nd and the flexibility of the 112 that it still provides me before draft day.
Bonus round. What if it's just the 112 or James Cook?
I think I'd probably take Cook then. I do. I think that's fair.
Needling in a little bit on a price point, perhaps then. 112 or Rashad White, JP?
Yeah, Rashad White, he had a great year this year. I believe, though, that he was one of the least efficient top 10 scoring running backs we've seen in a long time. Was not efficient, so I'm not super excited about his future, and I don't know if his that workhorse role is locked in. But I kind of want to caveat this. If I need a running back, in a competitor, I think I'll take Rashad White, and rebuilder, vice versa, take the 112.
Can't knock you for that process there. David, start 9, 112, and Christopher Godwin or Nico Collins.
I guess this question is how good do you think Nico is in that room? If you're willing to bet that Chris Godwin is similar to Nico Collins, this is clearly the package side. Kind of think I'm still willing to make that bet this year. Maybe a year or two down the road, that looks really bad, but Godwin's been a very productive player when he's healthy, and I think that 112 is still pretty good value, so I'm going to take the package.
And last one, 14 team, start 12, 112 or JSN.
Holy cow! Start 12 and a 14-teamer. Man, I think with that context, 112. If I swing and miss, that's really hurting me. When the league is a 14-team league and you need to start so many assets. So I'm going to take the safety of JSN here, and I mean he could take a step forward from his rookie season, and Lockett does seem to be trending downward, and he might just be there for his last season. So yeah, I still think JSN is a talented player. It was a little disappointing, but I'm going to take the guy who I feel more confident in projecting the NFL than 112 at this moment.
Bonus question: in our standard 12-team start 11, is the answer still JSN for you?
I think so. Yeah, I think if it was start 9 or 10, I might be tempted to swing for the fences a little bit. Hoping to get somebody who has a little more upside. But no, I still think I'm going to stick with JSN. I think you're a little bit lower on him, Justin. And yeah, David loves him in OSU wide receiver as well. And he didn't do that bad his rookie year.
I can't wait for him to prove the doubters wrong.
We're going to move on to some more Dynasty theory. We've already evaluated a little bit about RBs, kind of got a little bit of a needle on some potential prices. So, JP, I'm going to throw it to you. Are you looking to buy RBs, or are you aiming to draft the RB1 or potentially 2 in this class?
Yeah, it's tough to answer pre-draft because it's going to matter so much for a landing spot for these running backs. So it is a little bit hard to project. I think if we do get 2 good landing spots, we point to the Chargers and Cowboys frequently. Man, I don't know if I want to, rely on a Jonathan Brooks if I am competing and need a running back. So at this moment, I do think that I would lean towards taking a veteran if I have to make this decision now. NFL insiders, they've said how down teams are on this running back draft class. And we saw with the free agent market for running backs, they went like in the first couple hours, almost all of them. Teams were acting fast. And I think that's just a testament to how teams feel about this running back draft class. So yeah, I do think since we don't have running backs that we feel super confident as, for these rookie running backs, this class, I think I will lean on the safety of a veteran back that we've seen produce and is locked into a role right now.
Yeah, of course, I'm not asking you to buy RBs if you're not competing. So I understand that process altogether. Do you feel like this is a good spot to try and trade back to the 203 to 205 range and add another pick, David?
As of right now, I think so. I think a week from now we'll have a much clearer answer on that. But I feel like a few other receivers are going to get good landing spots than the ones we've discussed. I think as we've discussed, there's some running backs in this conversation, probably a quarterback or 2 that'll be valuable in this range. So yeah, I'm willing to move back for pretty cheap, to be honest. So we can take a peek at some trades that have happened on Dynasty Daddy. Someone moved back from the 112 to the 203 and added Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not great, but he's put him at QB3, break class in case of emergency kind of guy. I'm happy to roster him in that situation. Next one, 112 for 206, Gardner Minshew, Mike Williams. I think that's moving back a little far and not getting much as the additional pieces. I don't mind adding Gardner Minshew and Mike Williams as throw-ins in my deal, but I don't want to move out of that tier that we're in right now. And then the last one, 112 and 208 for 203 and Rashee Rice. Kind of just depends on how you value Rashee Rice, but for me, I think that's a pretty good package. If I can move back from the 112 to the 203, probably stay in the same tier, and then you move 208 for Rashee Rice. Essentially, I think that's a pretty good deal. Assuming I'm happy with my roster construction and I don't need to target anything specific, I'd probably move back for a future third if I truly believe it's the same tier. But again, whether that's 201, 202, 203, 204, we're not exactly sure. It'll kind of depend on the draft.
With where my rankings are right now, I have a clear tier break at 204. So, I do really think that the guys at 202, 203, 4, I think that they are in the same range as the 112, same tier as anything. So, yeah, I do agree with that. Maybe the tier changes to 203 or so. But, yeah, I generally agree with that assessment there. Unless there's a player that you really, really love at 112, I do think that this cluster between 110 to 203 is about the same tier right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel strongly about this one way or another, just know that when it's obvious, the deal will not be on the table. So if you're calling your shot, you probably have to call it before the NFL draft. Once the landing spots are clear, the tiers are clear within 24 hours, or at least the immediate tiers. They might change. It's already gone. So if you think that's going to happen and you want to try to pursue it, going to have to try to do so now. However, we took too long doing so, and now we have to make a decision on who to pick here. So, looking at our board, again, we have had all of the players come off that you would expect in the top 8: Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, AD Mitchell. And that leads us to the 12th pick, where we now have to make a selection. David, who are you taking here?
Yeah, I've been kind of saying it for the last couple episodes if you've been following along. For me, it's Lad. I'm a sucker for receivers that run good routes. I know that's really basic thing to say, and most people would think that that's true. But, a lot of people prefer the big, tall athletes, the upside guys, that kind of thing. I just want someone who can win a one-on-one. I think Lad's probably the best route runner of everyone left. He might even be the best route runner in the class, or at least up there with the elite guys, Marv and Odunze, that kind of guy. Yeah, 3.62 yards per route run. I know he had a much smaller sample size than most, but when he did get the opportunity, he looked really good. Just above 80th percentile in success rate versus both man and zone, according to reception perception. Had the highest percentage of open field opportunities that turned into multiple broken tackles. And it was a pretty wide gap between him and second. 85th percentile PFF grade for single coverage. So, I don't think he's going to win as your X, but if you can move him around, you can get him nice matchups. He's going to get open for you. Another thing I really like, 0.13 career first downs per route run. That's better than Neighbors, Adunze, Worthy, Franklin, so many more. I don't have a full list on this stat, but so far he's second behind only Marv for the people that I've been able to calculate this for. And he's also an elite athlete. 9.34 RAS score. He ran a 4.3940. His shuttle was 99th percentile. I think the shuttle time was a pro day time, but I don't really care about that personally. So there's just so much to like with Lad. Assuming he gets round 1 capital, I'm not even sure he'll be here at 112 for most drafts.
Yeah, I love me some Lad too. Cannot blame you. He's a good lad. However, I think that after the NFL draft, the RB1 is not going to make it to the 112. We're kind of a bunch of running back phobes. That's a new word. That's not a thing. We're scared of running backs in general. We don't want to have too many on our rosters because they're fragile, they lose value quickly, etc. However, the Cowboys, the Chargers, like JP said, great landing spots, just incredible. And when someone goes there in the second round to at least one of those or the early third round, that's going to be someone who's going to be taken in the first round of rookie drafts probably before this point. So definitely a really strong case to take a running back. I think I'd take Benson. I think JP would take Brooks at this point. So we're not even sure who that would be, but the RB1 in this class after the NFL draft will be an incredible value here.
I definitely agree with that sentiment. Just where things stand right now, I'm just not 100% sure who that running back 1 is going to be. And as with Lad McConkey, I love him as well. I think that his floor is so high because of his ability to separate versus man and zone coverage. Dude, the guy, he's just so sudden and so explosive out of his breaks at the stem of his route. He's really good after the catch as well, and he has rock solid, reliable hands. So we're going to take the good Lad right here at the 112.
That brings the 112 into frame with Lad McConkey sitting square in the middle of it. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Dino Construction Podcast. We hope you found this as helpful for you as it was for us. If you enjoyed this content, please check out the rest of our Framing a Rookie Draft series in the link below. We have a whole series of all picks 1 through 12. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And from all of us here at Dino Construction, until next time.